Have you ever been so deep in debt it feels like you're completely drowning? Well, you are definitely not alone. Millions of people are in that exact spot, and they are just getting bombarded with ads for what sounds like a total lifeline. In this explainer, we are diving deep into the massive $10 billion debt settlement industry to pull back the curtain on the secrets they really don't want you to know.
You've seen this, right? It always starts with a hook, just like this one. This one simple trick can erase your debt. The promise is always that you're about to be let in on some big secret that's going to solve all your financial problems. And this hook, it usually leads you to something called debt settlement. Now, in theory, it's a process where a company goes and negotiates with your creditors so you can pay back less than what you owe. It can sound like an absolute miracle, but it comes with some major risks.
So, what is the big secret here? Well, as we're about to find out, the real secret isn't some magic trick the banks are hiding from you. Nope. The secret is the absolute damage that can be done to your credit score, the hidden fees that can make your savings just evaporate, and the very real risk that you could end up getting sued. Okay, let's just start with the sheer scale of this whole operation. We're talking about an industry that is incredibly profitable, and all that money fuels this endless barrage of ads promising to erase your debt for pennies on the dollar, sometimes even using celebrity endorsements to try and lure you in. $10 billion. To put that in perspective for you, the debt settlement industry is actually bigger than the entire US music industry. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. When you see a number that huge, you start to understand why there's such a powerful incentive to get as many people signed up as humanly possible. And that incentive? It leads to some, frankly, dystopian targeting tactics. Our source material shows these ads aren't just thrown out there randomly. They're micro-targeted at really vulnerable groups. We're talking fear-based ads to scare seniors, patriotic themes aimed at veterans, and get this, even AI-generated fake stories to see which sob story gets the most clicks from people who are already in a desperate situation. All right, now we get to the absolute core of the deception. It's a classic bait and switch. You know, it's like going to a car dealership because you saw an ad for a brand new car at a great price, but when you get there, they tell you, oh, sorry, you don't qualify for that, and then they try to sell you a used car for a whole lot more. This slide lays out that switch so clearly. You call them up thinking you're getting a safe consolidation loan. You know, one simple payment to get your finances under control. But what you're actually sold is a debt settlement program, and that requires you to stop paying your bills. That one action can completely destroy your credit score for up to 7 years. We're talking making it almost impossible to get a car loan, a mortgage, or even just a new phone plan. And look, this isn't just some speculation. This quote right here is from Miller, a former sales rep who worked deep inside one of these huge companies. He's speaking out now because he saw firsthand how the entire system was literally designed to take advantage of people in their most vulnerable moments. It is a deliberate tactic. In fact, it's so deliberate, they actually have a name for it. Internal sales scripts that were uncovered call it the loan killer method. It's a carefully crafted, high-pressure script designed to manipulate and wear down customers who are saying, hey, wait, I just wanted a loan, and pivot them toward this risky, high-fee program they never even asked for in the first place. So let's just say you go through with it. The company promises you these massive savings, right? Maybe 50 cents on the dollar. But when you actually break down the math, when you factor in all the hidden costs, well, the picture changes dramatically. Okay, let's walk through a simple example. Step 1, you've got $10,000 in debt, and the promise is to settle it for half, $5,000. Sounds great, right? But then comes step 2, the fees. The company takes a hefty fee, often 25% of the settled amount. So 25% of that $5,000 is $1,250. Gone. Step 3, the penalties. While you're saving money in their account, you've stopped paying your bills. So your original debt is growing with late fees and interest, easily adding another $1,000 or more. And finally, step 4, taxes. The IRS sees that $5,000 of forgiven debt as taxable income. For a lot of people, that could mean owing another $1,000 or more to the government. So what's the bottom line here? When you subtract the fees, the penalties, and the new taxes from your supposed $5,000 in savings, you might end up saving just a couple $100. That's a real savings of only 2%. Now compare that to a nonprofit credit counseling agency, which can often get your interest rates lowered and put you on a real plan to be debt-free in a few years, potentially saving you thousands of dollars without wrecking your credit. Suddenly, 2% doesn't sound so good, does it? But even that tiny 2% in savings isn't guaranteed, not even close. Because there is one massive risk they often just bury in the fine print, one that can have some really severe legal consequences. The biggest risk of debt settlement is that you could get sued by your creditors. And look, this is not a small risk. This chart from Pew really puts it in perspective. It shows that in a lot of states, debt collection lawsuits make up roughly half of all civil court cases. What that means is when you follow their advice and you stop paying your bills, there is a very real, almost coin flip chance you are going to end up in court. So if the math is so bad and the risk is so high, how in the world do they sell this stuff? Well, they sell it with a myth. The myth of the special relationship. They want you to believe that they have these special connections at the banks that you could never, ever have on your own. I mean, this is just a classic marketing line, right? It's designed to make you feel powerless and to make them seem essential. They create a problem, your supposed lack of access, and then they turn around and sell you their expensive, high-risk solution. But here's the reality, coming from Dan, a consumer protection attorney who has spent years fighting these companies. He's seen the results, and he says the deal they get for you is likely the exact same deal you could get for yourself just by picking up the phone. The secret isn't a special relationship. The secret is that you never needed to pay them thousands of dollars in the first place. So, if this path is so full of traps, what should people actually do? Well, the experts we looked at for our source material were crystal clear. There are much safer, much more transparent alternatives out there that actually prioritize your long-term financial health over a company's sales commission. The two main recommendations are, first, nonprofit credit counseling. It's a great option for people who want to get out of debt without totally destroying their credit. And for those who are truly, completely overwhelmed, consulting a bankruptcy attorney can provide legal protection and a path to a fresh start. And for reputable help, you can check out the websites for the National Foundation for Credit Counseling or the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway here. People selling you quick fixes and secrets might just have a few secrets of their own to hide. So if you are struggling with debt and you're even thinking about one of these programs, your very first step should be to talk to a nonprofit credit counselor. They can help you understand all your options and make the best decision for your future, not a decision based on some high-pressure sales pitch. So let's just recap real quick. We've seen how this whole thing can start with a bait and switch, how those huge promised savings can just vanish into fees and taxes, and how their entire special relationship is probably just a myth. So the next time you see one of those ads promising a secret, just ask yourself, is the secret really being kept from the banks, or is it being kept from you?